Hello, this is Greg Allison, the Green Gregs, coming to you on 7 December 2020. And 7 December is an anniversary of the date we were told we would remember. As you may well know, this is the anniversary. In fact, it is the 79th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And Pearl Harbor has come to be synonymous with the language for surprise attack because it took most of this nation by quite a surprise. There were some people that might have sort of expected it, but, and then again, it's thought that some people, like maybe even the president, FDR, knew it was coming. That's been speculated. And some speculate the same kind of thing for 9/11. As we know, 9/11 is also viewed as a Pearl Harbor type of attack, but again, is equated in terms of Pearl Harbor because Pearl Harbor was a huge event that changed the world, as did 9/11. But Pearl Harbor was a much bigger, larger attack. So the question I have before you today is, are we due for another Pearl Harbor attack? Is our time about to run out before it hits again? So that's what we're going to talk about briefly here. We're just going to kind of wet what could happen and what might it mean, and the fact that you need to be prepared always, just in case, because there's several things afoot right now, any one of which could go in that direction. So, but don't be scared, be prepared. That's the motto of this channel. Now, one of the mottos. Of course, I always tell you that keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. And the reason for that is that I intend to bring you news like this to help you be aware of what's going on in the world so you can survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive, the very proposition of this channel. So if you've not subscribed to this channel, subscribe, bang the notification bell and click all, and come back from time to time to make sure that the Al Gore no rhythms are not snow jobbing you, that you're back getting my notifications. Some people don't seem to get them as many as others. So do check back and see what I'm doing, because I'm putting out a lot of videos. Thanksgiving weekend, I was a little in a lull. I had too many other things to do, but I try to get something out every day if I can. And these include a lot of those things that will help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. So before I get into this, again, I said, don't be scared, be prepared. And in that venue, I do want to let you know real quick that there is a special that's still on right now, $100 off a 4-week supply of long-term food storage. It lasts 25 years, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you get this at this price, you're definitely a winner. I'm surprised that this hasn't gone up, given the inflation in food prices. You get 2,000 calories a day. It's real food. It's not MREs. It's, look at it, that's regular meals. It's freeze-dried type food. So it's lightweight, and you can carry it around, and you can kick up here and get other prepping supplies too. And it also helps my channel if you go in through prepwithgreg.com to these other things. And what I'm about to talk about, you'll see that indeed, maybe we do need some of these other things. The good news is it's very lightweight. Ow! Hey, your kids can carry this stuff. You know, I like the video I've seen of somebody else's, that's half of it. You get 2 of those. I've seen some other videos, somebody just pushing across their threshold in their front door, an adult. Now your kids can carry those around, and you can open up the little pouches. You can throw your backpack, your bicycle bags, and bug out. Easy to carry, easy to deal with. They're good, they're great. Now, let's get back to this Pearl Harbor surprise. Are we in for another Pearl Harbor? Are we in for another surprise? Well, guess what? I just did a video on this, and I posted it last night, kind of late. In fact, it was an interview with Stacy Zivicki of Sustainable Stewards. And Stacy has had these visions brought to her by none less than the Lord. And a lot of her visions have been bearing fruit. And but the message of this vision is we could avert it just by repenting individually and as a nation. So there is a way out. This is not all doom and gloom, but it could be coming and coming soon. So her visions also said you had to be prepared, get ready, brace yourself. And there have been a lot of visions by a lot of people along these lines. So that video, just so you'll know, I hope we got a link to it here. That video is warning on Iranian missiles to Venezuela. And basically the warning was the warning to Elliot Abrams, who's a special envoy from the Trump administration to Venezuela and Iran. He warned them that if any missiles show up in Iran, that they will be taken out in Iran, and if we find them on the way, we will intercept them, interdict their shipment. Well, that happens right now. The largest flotilla of oil tankers ever from Iran to Venezuela is on its way there. Are they just carrying fuel? Hey, check that video out, my friends. But that video starts out just with the background. I'm talking the usual stuff I talk about, with, the government says this guy say that, here's what's going on here, what's going on. But that video ends up more a talk about the prophecies as seen by Stacy Zivicki, which fits. And the reason I started out my normal stuff more is I was given a bedrock to it, saying, this is credible. Well, do you want to believe in visions or not? This is a credible threat. So it's so that the government issued warnings about it. And it's not the first time they issue these warnings, not at all. They've issued these warnings repeatedly because there's something they're concerned about. There may be more than we publicly know about. As I mentioned in that video and having others, according to sources I've had, I was told right immediately after the wall fell in the Soviet Union that 2 fully armed nuclear tipped with warhead missiles went from Kazakhstan to Iran. That's true. Iran has had 2 of these devices ever since then. What I noted was right after I was told that, suddenly Kazakhstan was in a hurry to give up their missiles and send them back. And whatever country ever said, oh, I got all these nuclear missiles, I don't want them. Take them, Mother Russia, take them back. You take these things, I don't want them. That was weird. They might have had some pressure from Russia to do that, but they were an independent country at that point. What independent country has just rushed to get rid of them? Interesting. What was going on there? Maybe they knew they couldn't control them. Maybe they knew they'd already lost some. Maybe it scared them. Maybe they were afraid of an attack from somebody else because of it, or they just didn't want the blood on their hands. I do not know. It may not even be true. What is true is that the Soviet wall fell. The missiles in Kazakhstan, some short period of time after that, all back to Russia. And they went back right after I heard the story I heard. I mean, I heard that story pretty early on. I got a guy called me and said, Greg, Iran got him. What? Kazakhstan. And he told me all this. And it was like, he said he heard it from briefings that he was in. It may have not been true. This, as far as we know, it's hearsay. Hearsay. Don't say, oh, Greg said this is that. No, I said, I heard that. It's possible. Okay. It is within the realm of possibility. Even if it didn't take place that way, bear in mind that in the Soviet Union itself, there were a lot of armaments and just sitting around unsecured. And you had a country that people that was starving to death with all this stuff sitting on them over here, and you had other peoples in other lands who really desperately wanted them and had a lot of money to pay for them. So you had supply and demand and no resistance between them practically. So what was to keep those transactions from happening? Yeah, there were a few cases where things were caught and interdicted, uranium and this, that, and the other, enriched uranium and some other things that were intercepted and stopped. That's probably just tip of the iceberg. What went through? There's 80 backpack nukes that are missing right now. What are they? Where are they? Okay, now with all that said, or at least it's alleged there's 80 backpack nukes missing. Okay. And we know that the Soviet Union was a sieve at one point in time after Russia after the Soviet Union fell in terms of security for weapon systems and nuclear grade materials. So it is possible that things leaked out to other countries, maybe even non-governmental activities. So it's possible that we could have a Pearl Harbor coming from directions that we don't anticipate. And a Pearl Harbor may not even take the form of anything that we have in our minds today. For example, 9/11, 2 airplanes, 2 commercial jets with passengers on board became weapons of mass destruction, essentially, brought down towers, launched the United States into taking down 2 countries. Whew. Now, actually, some did think of that. I heard the news, oh, nobody thought of that. Well, come on. We knew those towers were targets. And actually, there had been some exercises prior to that, looking at just that specific type of eventuality. So, yeah, it had been thought about. Now, is that what happened? We're not even what really went down then is not on the table right now. What we're talking about is going forward. Could we get a big surprise? Could there be something coming at us? Could it be another bug? Possibly. There's talk, there's conjecture. There could be another bug coming out. There could be Stacy Zivicki's vision may unfold. The interesting thing about her vision is this. She had a series of visions. These occurred over several years. And some of them actually include invasions. I can bring her on and do several other interviews with her. She's seen a lot of stuff. And her visions are very interesting. And for somebody who makes a living milking cows and running a homestead to have seen things with the technical veracity with which she saw it is nothing short of amazing. Take it from somebody. I deal with rockets, I deal with power grid defense, and I deal with, I've worked missile defense. Yes, I have worked missile defense. I have been in the Department of Defense as a civil servant and as a soldier. And and I work space stuff. So I have been around these things. That's how my career is. All that said, her visions were highly, highly interesting. What she saw would take is nothing short of brilliant military strategy, top level analysis of a military analyst. And so coming, but she got this from the Most High. So, and what better way to bring a message out like this? You find somebody that's got a good heart, smart, tough girl, milking cows, and you show her something like this. That's like validating the message. If that he came to me or some aerospace engineer, somebody could say, oh, that person's just hallucinating. The fact that she saw this, to me, gives the vision more credibility. It makes it highly interesting. Doesn't again say it's got to happen. The way it played out in her vision, the way the timing laid out, was that she had to have herself and her family totally prepared by winter solstice, the 21st of December this year, this month, which is just a couple of weeks from now. And it just so happens that this is a very interesting solstice. This winter solstice is the winter solstice that has the Star of Bethlehem reappearing. Yes, what we believe was the Star of Bethlehem is the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn meeting in the sky to look like one star. It's going to occur. It hasn't occurred in hundreds of years. It will have it occur again for hundreds of years. But it is happening directly on the winter solstice of this Nutburger year 2020, with all these things going down. And to put icing on the cake, guess what? You're not going to believe this. According to some sources, because we were using the Julian calendar, the actual year right now is 2012. According to some sources, if you make all the adjustments, the Mayan calendar prophecies, according to some sources, the Mayan calendar prophecies are actually due to take place December 21st, 2020. Can you believe it? I'm laughing because it's just, it's hard to take it all in. And maybe I shouldn't be laughing because this could happen. These things could happen anytime. This Pearl Harbor type thing. We could have an event tomorrow morning, 10 years from now. But given the way everything is going down, given all this emphasis on reset, you got to have a great reset. We got to do this. We got to change this. We got to change that. You can't live this way anymore. It's unsustainable. You can't do this. We got to totally change the system. Everything's got to change. Well, you can't get everything changed right now because people won't tolerate it. You have to have a major catastrophe to get people to put up with the kind of stuff that they're talking about. So are we dealing with a major play in the Hegelian dialectic coming at us? Oh, you want a solution. So you create a problem and you come up with an answer to the problem that takes you to your solution. That's the Hegelian dialectic. Of course, most of us are living in cognitive dissonance. We can't process what's happening today. I get a lot of people today to criticize me for putting out videos like this. Oh, Greg, you always say all these things. Well, they never happen. They're not going to happen because they never happen. 9/11 didn't happen, did it? No. We didn't have a bug going around this year, did we? No. We didn't lose 72 million businesses in America this year, did we? No. Everything's just hunky-dory. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I guess I'll just go home. I am home. All right. things can happen. And if we don't do something, things will happen. If we don't get this grid hard, you see that? That's my conference placard from 2 power grid defense conferences that I chaired. If we don't get this grid hard, the sun will take us out if nothing else does. If we do nothing. Some people say, oh, well, they'll do it. They'll take us out. It'll be our guys. Well, if they want to take us out, all they got to do is exactly what they're doing now, which is nothing. As long as they keep doing nothing, Mother Nature will do it. And they'll blame it on Mother Nature instead of their negligence, because they know darn well this can happen. They ought to be fixing it, and they're not fixing it. So maybe those sources are right, whether it's intentional or just through negligence. It has the same effect. So is the next Pearl Harbor just coming from the sun? If we don't do anything, yes. But it could come faster. It could come faster. I mean, look at this. Missiles on the way. Wow. Is that a Freudian slip? Was that something from my pie? I don't know if missiles are on the way through my intellect to Venezuela, but there's certainly a lot of people concerned that they might be, and maybe they are. Maybe they've already got there. There was a big 747 just landed in Venezuela back in October. I did a report on that. And it was supposed to have been sanctioned. It wasn't supposed to be traveling to there, but it did. It did. Well, it wasn't supposed to, according to us. But apparently, Iran and Venezuela didn't agree with that. And we didn't deem it worthy to shoot it down. That would have been the incident. The United States shot down a 747 going between 2 other countries over the Atlantic Ocean. That would take a good story. First, the Soviet Union shot down a 747 carrying Congressman McDonald when it got its radar messed up supposedly and flew over the Kamchatka Peninsula on the way to Japan back in the 1980s. I was in the Army back then. That was a big uproar. Some of us were worried that we might go to bang-bangs with Russia at that day. That wasn't one of the many close calls we cite, though. See, and these people, nothing will ever happen. Well, look, we got a lot of close calls. We came this close to having all-out, with Russia on several occasions. Fortunately, it takes so long for missiles to go from one side to the other. You got time to figure out that they're really not coming. Now that we're going into an era of hypersonic weapons, that time is shortened a lot. We're getting to be more and more on a hair trigger. Countries that are adjacent to each other, who are armed nuclearly, don't have that luxury. They could inadvertently find themselves at blows, quite accidentally, such as Pakistan and India, or India and China. And I've talked about both these cases and the worldwide ramifications that could lead us to. Those are Pearl Harbors. But I'm most worried about our power grid because it is our Achilles heel. America is the king of the hill of the world so far. We're falling fast. We are the top power. The rising power is China. The Siamese trap is a language term generated by Dr. Graham Allison of Harvard. And Dr. Graham Allison looked at the analysis, the history wrote by the very first scientific historian, Thucydides, on the Peloponnesian Wars, in which he explained the tensions of a rising power coming up against an entrenched power, and how that creates huge tensions and to lead to warfare. And he gave a very detailed analysis of this back, in the BC era. Brilliant analysis. And so much so, but what happened in that case was the Spartans were up here and Athens was rising, but eventually Spartan crushed Athens. That's how that one turned out. It's not always the case. Graham Allison's analysis said that over the course of the last 500 years, this has occurred 16 times that there's been this rising power against an entrenched power. And out of those 12 times, 75% resulted in war. And the 4 that didn't result in war were special cases that probably wouldn't have had a war no way, or at least it was averted because both countries were in the same alliance, like in the European Union in one of the cases. 2 of the cases were, some was the United States versus England, like World War I, World War II time frames. And the United States and the Soviet Union. Well, the Soviet Union probably never had enough to rise up and displace the United States. China is going to pass us if we don't do something. If something doesn't happen, China is destined to eclipse the United States. And they may, on their way to surpassing us, decide to do something. They want to take Taiwan. They want to take Taiwan. The Republic of China. When I say China, I'm talking about the People's Republic of China is run by the CCP from the mainland. The people of the Republic of China are also Chinese, living in an independent country that existed prior to the Republic of China. It's not a breakaway province, okay? Because they pre-existed. The PRC's People's Republic of China is actually the renegade. It's the insurgent. But the revolution, trying to finally take out the remnant. But I digress there. This tension there, though, could lead, they want to take them. They realize that they will have problems with us. Maybe they'd like to take us out. Maybe they'd like to use the Stooges to do it, proxy. Maybe they would provoke North Korea or Iran. Now, the thing about it, what's so significant about going to Venezuela? In Venezuela, you have a country that is in total disarray. They don't know what's going on inside their own country. Stacy Zivicki's vision was for a launch offshore from Venezuela. It was interesting. I've launched from offshore. You can do all kind of things offshore. North Koreans apparently had erected missiles on a missile and missile launchers on the deck of a cargo ship called the Chongqing stemming around several years ago in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, unbeknownst to us, until it went back through the Panama Canal, and they found these missiles under several bags of sugar. So, my friends, it's possible that China, Russia, North Korea, or maybe even Iran could make a launch from offshore of Venezuela. We don't have radars looking south and attack the United States unbeknownst to us with an EMP. Or we could get an EMP from other sources. So an EMP could be our Pearl Harbor. Be the worst Pearl Harbor we've ever known. We may have hacking. We may have direct ballistic attacks on our power substations. The head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard has said that they have 20 of our substations targeted. And it's deemed that it only takes 9 to take down a grid. But they say, oh, we've already got sleeper cells ready to go. That would be enough to do the job without an EMP. Hackers could do a big job on us. It's thought that if there were an attack, it'd be multi-pronged. It would include an EMP, hackers, and direct attacks, all in concert. That's how people think this would play out. And, so if we got into you wouldn't know who it came from. Who do you hit? How do you respond? You wouldn't necessarily know. You might respond to hit the wrong guy. So, obviously, with what's going on, we would think Iran did it probably. Maybe China did it. So there might be some incentive. Let's get rid of the United States. Let's topple the king of the hill, especially for China. They love to topple the king of the hill. Maybe Russia would. Of course, Russia would then have to deal with China at some point in the future. Too bad we're not making alliances with Russia to contain China now, or to get them at least on more friendly terms. So there we are, my friends. We could have the sun get us. We could have any one of these 4 nations operating off the coast of Venezuela take us out. Or it's also possible that some of these things that were loose, that could break up the Soviet Union, could get in the hands of non-state actors and be launched. Some non-state actor might pull the trigger. Oh, Greg, that's impossible. Oh, yeah? I launched rockets from high-altitude balloons in the Gulf of Mexico 20 years ago. Absolutely. I've done it, and I've done it, and I've done it again. I launched one over the Atlantic. That one I launched from offshore, Topsail Beach. But I have been in the Gulf of Mexico doing operations just like my balloons alone could have carried a very large device. You don't need a large one, by the way, to 30 kilometers, which would take out a pretty good area. My rockets hit space. They can do it. It can be done. That's one way to do it, and do it anonymously, practically. But you can just put a sufficient missile on the deck of the boat and do the same thing. I'm just telling you, this is within the realm of possibility. I'm not saying it will happen, but it could. And the United States is the king of the hill. And a lot of people would like to take us out, especially that's through cities pressure that exists today between the United States and China. And also the fact that we've got our boot on the neck of Iran and Venezuela. Neither one of them like us. These all could work in concert to take us out. North Korea would love to have South Korea. So there's several tensions in play today externally. There's tensions internally. There's tensions to reset the world. And the United States is the biggest resistor to a big world reset. Why? Because we believe in rugged individualism in the core of this country. And that just don't fit their totalitarian dreams. So, but you know what? I don't care about their totalitarian dreams. I believe we have our own. But we dream to continue to live in peace. And we want to promote prosperity and continue our freedoms. So the first thing you can do is prepare. You can pray. I would absolutely ask you to pray. Repent, as Stacy asked you to repent. To get our power grid to harden. Join with me in efforts on that regard, and others that are working that. But do everything you can. Prepare yourself and your family to survive no matter what comes. We're forming these survival communities. The idea is that when all this stuff, if it hits, it's the fan. When the dust blows away, we'd like to be able to stand up, shake it off, and build a better world. Let's hope it don't come to that. But if it does, let's find a way to get through that. So email me at hal5space@aol.com, link below. And also, I've got another email. I'm just trying to figure out if it's going to be .org or .com. I've already got one set up for this. We're getting our web set up. You can join the Freedom Restoration Foundation on Facebook. That's not the direct end, but that's a start. And the website's coming up soon. We got all these things are moving. I've already paid for the service to make it a WordPress thing on GoDaddy. So yeah, and I've got someone set up to start setting it up. These things are going to be happening, and hopefully we've got enough time to get it all in place. I think we will, because I think that's the way the greater creator operates. He gives us just enough time, just enough. So pay attention, and I want everybody to just love your neighbors and family as much as you can. Send out love in the world, and never forget to tell a loved one you love them. You don't know when you'll have another chance, especially in these days and times of things happening the way they are. This year's a you-know-what burger, big time. If we survive this next year, doesn't promise to be much better. I'll talk about that. Hopefully we get through the 21st. Who knows, the Star of Bethlehem could be a sign of good things. Let's hope it is. Let's hope it is. Of course, that's second coming might be deemed to be a good thing, but there's some ugly stuff that we're told is going to happen between now and then, according to some sources. That's what I read. That's the way I read the book of Revelations. So, all right, my friends. Yeah, another thing is all this is happening, 2017. Before I end this, I'll have to say in 2017, we had that business where Jupiter went through the constellation Virgo, right? And when that happened, a lot of people saw that as the doomsday sign. And so what was that all about? I mean, quite frankly, in Revelations 12, in passages 12 through, in the book, 12 to 13, it says, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. Said she was pregnant and cried out in pain, and she was about to give out birth. And some people believe that this astronomical sign was Virgo and Leo. But anyway, that took place already, and it happened in September 2017. So it could be that was a harbinger, just it wasn't immediate. And Jupiter went through Virgo, and was 9 months in the belly area of Virgo, as it did one of those loop-de-loops in the sky, which planets do, because we're all in this carousel, right? All righty, enough said. So my friends, the question is, will we have another Pearl Harbor? It's a high probability, a high chance. Are you ready for it? When will it happen? What will it be? And are you ready for it? So just get ready, be prepared, not scared. And hopefully we can get through this stuff. Hopefully we get through it. It won't happen, but let's get as prepared as we can. That's the insurance. My friends, at this point, I'm just going to say thank you for watching.